Rob Foster, All Out Tint, and Flat Glass Guidance Facebook group.
Yes.
What's happening? Good to see you.
How are you? Nice to see you too. How's the weather?
The weather's good over here. It's a little bit hot, but that means like 80s to 90s, which isn't like that hot, I guess, considering. How about you? Are you melting?
I think we're at maybe right now 104.
That's hot.
It's hot. And we also live about an hour from Vegas. So we're actually in Pahrump, Nevada. And it's a little bit cooler here. So it's about like 3 to 4 degrees cooler, maybe 5 degrees on any given day. So Vegas is probably pushing around 108 right now.
And is that temperature transferring into dollars in window tint?
Man, what a great question. It is and it isn't. This season, I guess we've seen a decrease in some of the months. So it's been really odd kind of how everything is going. I don't know whether that's based off of just weather, but maybe the election, people trying to save more, maybe not as interested in window tint for their home or business. So it's kind of odd. I really don't know how to answer that correctly. Some of it, I believe, yes, because we go on estimates and they're just like, listen, it's so damn hot in here. We have to do something to reduce this heat. And then other ones we go to and they're kind of griping about the price. So I think it all just really depends. We were kind of hoping that with this heat wave that we got in June and July, it was like 115, 120 here, that it was just going to be ridiculously slammed. I know some companies were extremely busy with auto. And I don't know as much for the flat glass companies. I don't know how many companies that are actually in Vegas that only do flat glass. So, yeah, it's kind of a tough season.
Was there anything that you had kind of prepared for, in the sense like you had anticipated being slammed potentially this season, and maybe it's a little less slammed than you expected? Is there anything that you had done to prepare for the busy season?
Really, we had a better winter than normal. We've been now in business for about 5 years. So we did have a better winter than we usually would have, which was really a good thing. We landed a couple decent contracts throughout town. And that kind of held us over through the winter, which is nice because typically we really slow down a lot, right? So I think financially,
an indicator of what was to come in the summer.
Yeah. So we actually didn't know, because we were actually a lot busier than we anticipated in the winter. So we were kind of making the jokes like, hey, I wonder if we're going to be slower in the summer, and it's unfortunate, but we were, we're a little bit slower this summer than we were in the past summers, but we actually just kind of saved. We saved through the winter, saved from last year's season. And that's one of the biggest things doing this business is, as we all know, as tinters, money comes and goes really fast in this business. So if you're not smart with it and you don't manage it correctly, you're going to find yourself in some big trouble. And if you anticipate through the winter that you're going to get slammed in the summer and you don't, but you didn't save for that, then you're going to have a hell of a time trying to make it through.
Right. And that's a great piece of guidance. And I'd love to discuss why what was the thought process behind starting Flat Glass Guidance. I remember meeting you about a year ago at WFCT at the 44 Tools booth. Yeah. And you expressed at the time how you wanted to provide value for the industry. I felt like those were right around your words. And then since then, you've not only started the group, but the group has grown tremendously. And I think you've made a big impact in the industry already within the group and the content you put out. So tell me kind of more about your thought process behind starting Flat Glass Guidance, which is a Facebook group dedicated to flat glass window tinters.
Yeah. So the biggest thing was, let's say 8 years ago, started tinting. For me, there was nothing out there that I can go to. We reached out to YouTube, tried to see what we could find, my wife and I. We looked on Facebook, we looked on Instagram, and it was just really tough, right, for me to really start to learn how to do flat glass and really the fundamentals of it. So that was like one of my biggest things, was I wanted to help out the industry the best that I could and start this page. But at first, how it started was my wife and my sister-in-law were actually like, hey, you need to start making videos. You need to kind of talk about what you're doing. But to be honest, I was kind of camera shy. I didn't really want to be on camera, and I didn't want to be like on that center point of attention where people can be like, oh, he did that wrong, or that's not the right way. So I had to kind of get that out of my head and just kind of do what I was doing. Now, I believe that I'm a decent window tinter when it comes to flat glass and security film, but I wasn't ready for the criticism that came with it. So when I initially started making these videos, it was kind of tough, right? But before we get into all of that, I wanted to give back to the industry somehow, because it's actually done really well for myself and my family. It supports, obviously, my wife and I, and then part of our team. So I wanted to find a way that I can get back to that and have some kind of a page that everyone can go to, whether you just started, whether you've been in this for 20 years, whether your name is big or small. The silliest question is the best question to ask. And I wanted everyone to feel comfortable with that. I go on some of these other pages still, recently, and I kind of read the messages and I'm just like, oh man, like, they're kind of beating you up for saying, what type of reflection film should I use? Or, how do I know if 5% automotive is safe for a residential window? Well, we know it's not, but these guys that are brand new, they don't know. So who's really out there to guide that and really help them without them feeling put down or without discouraging them, right? So that was one of the biggest focuses of the page. I remember when the page got to about 200 members, and I was just like, man, I can't believe that this thing is growing like this. And now just today it clicked over to 2,600, and I was just like, man, this is great. And we don't how do I put it? We don't have anyone giving us bad constructive criticism. Now it's really just like, hey, thanks for the help. We really appreciate it. And then I have a lot of big name people on that page that joined it, and they're great with the people that are coming in. So that makes a big difference too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And kind of part of the life cycle of any group is when it starts, everything kind of can go smoothly and grow. But like you mentioned, sometimes they get to a point where they become not friendly to new members of the group because new members ask questions. They don't know they're like good questions or bad questions. They don't know. You don't know when you don't know. So that's a vibe that I felt from the way you handle that group as well. Is it's a very friendly and open group, and that's a tone you've established.
Yeah, and everyone is welcomed, right? From any age group, from anyone is welcome to that page. Now, the only thing that we don't like to have on the page is obviously anything to do with auto or PPF or ceramic coating. Those are just the things I didn't really want to focus on that. I really wanted to have a page that was just dedicated to flat glass, which is really nice because, when you have an automotive shop and you're doing auto and you're doing the other services, and then you add in flat glass, there's not many avenues to go to, but then people start to realize, like, let's say that you didn't know anything about window tint and you wanted to come into this industry and you came to the page and you're like, hey, I want to do flat glass only. And you start to learn about it. It's a little bit different than starting an automotive shop where people can call you on the phone and you can book 10, 15 cars in 2 days. It's not the same with flat glass, right? You're typically not booking 10 to 15 homes in 2 days and going out to knock them out real quick to have the next home come in, because it doesn't go that way. So I wanted to just have everyone really have the understanding of, if they start this side of the business, the challenges that are going to come are going to be worth the reward, but it's going to take time to get there.
So the group is called Flat Glass Guidance, and it's a Facebook group. So you just search Flat Glass Guidance. And I would say, the quick growth of the group. Look, there's plenty of tint groups out there, and we've seen the comment like, oh, great, another tint group and so on. However, I think the growth of this tint group specifically shows to your points of the need for it, that there was an actual need for more flat glass guidance, as you perfectly named the group. And, the need for the group, and also the direction that I believe a lot in the industry are going, are they maybe feel tapped out with automotive in some way or another, and they're seeing the higher ticket and other advantages of flat glass, the scalability, the able to cover different areas and distances and so on. Not to say it doesn't come with its challenges, but I do think that's the direction it's going, and you spotted that,
Yeah, and that was the other thing is, guys that are into automotive or girls that are into automotive, they've already built a great clientele, right? They've been in business 3 or 4 years. These are for the people that already have an auto shop, and they want to start to incorporate flat glass. But now they have questions on, how do we market this? How do we advertise this? How are we going to get in front of these clients? What's the best channel to do this on? But really for them internally, they're already advertising and marketing for themselves, for their auto shops. They're busy. They're successful. Take what you have already and build on top of that now with the flat glass. If you already have the vehicle there, someone's driving that car there and picking it up. You have all this extra time now to market flat glass. What we do for your car, we can do for your home. We can protect your business. We can stop the UV. We can reduce the heat. So those customers are already there. As long as you give them the knowledge and something to think about while they're waiting for their amazing tint job to get done, before you know it, you're going to do an estimate at their house too. So it's a really cool thing there.
And you said you've been in the industry for about 5 years?
Yeah. So All Out Tint, how long? 5, 6, going into 5.5 years.
Okay.
We actually started this just before COVID, when nobody knew what COVID was or was going to happen. Like 2 weeks before that, my wife was in dentistry. I was already tinting for another company in town, and I went to her, and we've only been together. Today's actually our anniversary, 4 years. So I went to her and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to resign from my job and I want to start a window tint company. And she didn't ask any questions. All she said was okay. And she had no clue that you could put window tint on a home, right? So about 4.5, 5 years ago is when we started it. And it just kind of took off, right? Our name is All Out Tint. We have a big American flag truck. We have a lot of supporters in town. We do a lot of decent projects. I mean, we get along with everyone. And this is the thing, Eric. I work with every window tint company that there is. So I was just on the Miller Show. I call it the Miller Show. I did their podcast with them on Monday, and it's an hour podcast, right? Well, by the time we kind of look down at the clock, we're into it for 2 hours, and we're still talking and talking and talking. But that just goes to show, like, All Out Tint is here for everyone and everyone in the industry and everyone that's new coming in. We want to grow with everyone and grow it together. So we made a pretty big name for ourselves in the beginning, and it's just kind of taken off that way to where we don't even advertise, to be honest. Like our team is small. We don't advertise. Everything is word of mouth, but we have a big name. So it worked out really well. We're very humbled for where we're at, and I never expected to be on any of these shows, to be honest.
Well,
so it's really cool.
I'd love to dive deeper into how you made a big name for yourself so quickly, and also being that if you can, and then also being that you're relatively new to the industry in a way. What if did anything stand out to you as you were entering the industry and as you were growing the business from then until now? Is there anything that stood out to you that you felt, wow, I can't believe so many people do it this way, or wow, this is an easy opportunity to get ahead with your branding or with anything? Because you're entering an industry that there's not a million tinters, but there's a lot. There's plenty of competition. Plenty of competition in Las Vegas, and you came into a new industry and you're doing very well. Talk about how you did it a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So to get back to the industry in Vegas, I mean, I think there's over like 400 shops here in town. So it is, I mean, Vegas is so saturated with window tinters. And I was kind of talking to the Millers about this, like off their show, but we kind of share the same issues with labor, right? And I think a lot of us as tinters do. But it was funny because you can train a guy, and even if you pay him extremely well and he's happy, there's going to be a day where he's like, hey, I'm going to start my own window tint company. And it just sucks, right? Because you put all this time and effort into someone, you train them for a year, 2 years, and they're out there running flat glass or whatever it is. And then they decide one day to get wild hair in their ass, and they're like, well, we're going to own that window tint company now, and we're going out here to do this. But they don't know what it takes to get there, or the insurance or the licensing or, the clientele and how you have to build your business. Other than that, what was really intriguing to me is watching the customers after the install. When I was just a helper, it was really cool to see how happy the clients were with the work that was being performed. It literally stops so much of the heat, right? It stops the UVs, which we can't see the UV, but I know it stops it. But just the heat rejection alone and the glare reduction and the reaction from the client, that's what really drove me. And I really like the fact that helped out so many people so fast. I mean, it's immediate satisfaction. So for my wife and I, we really love to help out everyone. So to see how much it actually benefits to the client, and it's not just a piece of window tint to put on your car or to put on your house or business just to look cool or to stop some privacy or whatever have you, it actually made a big difference in people's lives. So I'm like, wow, this is something really cool that I can get into, and I can make a decent living doing it, hopefully. And then I can also really help people out and really stop the glare, stop smash and grab, really, really make a big difference. And that's what kind of gave me the drive and motivation to do it. If you let me, I would be able to talk on here for the next 6 hours. So that's how I built the business, right? I continued to talk and talk and talk. That was really like my biggest thing. I can't shut up. And it's funny, I went on Tint Dude's podcast, and he's like, before the show came on, he's like, listen, you don't have to go into like such good detail. He's like, just kind of stay to the question, because I can call him on the phone and talk to him for an hour about nothing. So to answer that, that is one of the ways that I built this. A lot of people go straight to Google. They go advertising, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these different things. And for me, I just took my feet, walked to the doors, knocked on doors, went to businesses, shook people's hand, gave them a flyer, told them who I was, first and last name in business that my wife just started, and we would love to do a great job for them. And that's literally how I built this. And I mean, it's not just me, right? So my wife has a lot to do with this. My sister-in-law really runs this company, to be honest. Before we get into that, that's really how I built the business. I just couldn't shut up. Stack of business cards at that time, go to the gas station. I didn't care who was in that parking lot. I gave a card to everyone. I went in there to say, hey, thank you for letting me pump your gas right here. And I gave a card to everyone in the store. Whether they liked it or not, I didn't care. Grocery store, oh my God. I couldn't tell you, dude. My wife is here. We're at the house right now. My wife is here saying, because it was, I bring a stack of flyers into Smith's in Southern Highlands in Vegas. And I would leave these flyers everywhere. I put them in the bread. I'd put them in the cereal. I'd put them in the milk. Before I get into that, I actually hired a guy getting a gallon of milk out of the fridge, and he worked for us tinting windows. So that's just kind of how I built the business, to be honest. And it might be silly to some, but that is the honest to God truth of how this business started to grow its name. And then our wrap is loud. So some people don't like the wrap. Some people that live in America don't like our flag, and that it is what it is. The truck is loud. The wrap is loud. The guy getting out of the truck doesn't shut up. He's loud. And here I am. I mean, I'm fairly new to the industry, like you said, and I've connected with so many great people, man. I looked through the industry, and I looked at the biggest names that I thought that I could find, that people that owned companies within our business. Tools. My first goal, about 3 years ago or so, I told my wife, I want to work for Fusion. You want to work for who? Fusion. They make tools. And she's like, okay, like, you know what? I'm going to find out where they send their tools, and I'm going to go after that company, and I'm going to make my name for myself through that company, and I'm going to work for them instead as I own this company. So we did some research, found out that obviously 44 Tools did a lot of work with them, and they're the hub, right? A lot of people go there to buy tools. So I emailed Tim, and I said, hey, listen, I would love to get sponsored by you guys. What do I have to do? And he emailed me back, and he said, listen, make some content, make some videos about our tools and how you use them on the job, send them to us, and we'll talk. I think within a week, Tim called, and he's like, we want you. And then that's how I got sponsored for WFCT to, go out there and join the show and be put on their billboard and all that stuff. So when I was there, I met Poppy there from Tint Buster. I knew Jason, but I met him in person there. Then I met Louie there. So I just put myself out there, man. Like, I don't care what no one thinks. I don't care what they were going to say. I didn't care if they were like, oh, screw that guy. I just went on a mission, and straightforward, I did it. And something worked, because I'm sitting here on your show that I never thought I'd be on a day in my life talking to you about window tint. Well, whoever is on here watching, and it's just kind of an open mind. Stay true to yourself, be proud of yourself and what you do, and kind of put out all the bullshit, right? Don't let that get into your head, because everyone's got it. And the guy that's talking this or the girl that's talking that, they're doing the same things that you don't even know about, but they're just not out here putting it out there. So just stay on the same path and just move forward. Think about yourself, your family, your business, and your direction of where you're trying to go, and you're going to get there. But it's going to be a fight, but you're going to get there, And that's just kind of, yeah. My newest member is Shady J. So Shady J, he, I see what he's doing with the Be Shady shirts. So when I see his shirts and see what he does and advertises, I love that guy so much, man. And he gives me so much motivation. He really does. And I see him at the gym, and he's doing little bicep things and all this stuff. And I just think it's the greatest thing. So he gives me a lot of motivation.
In comparison, I feel like it's little bicep things, but for him or me, it would be big bicep.
Well, it was funny because I was like, what shirt am I going to wear? So before I get off track, because I do that sometimes. But on Green Valley Window Tint Show, I had on a different shirt, and the shirt actually said "Low Life Tinters," and then under it, it says Prump, Nevada. So we're from Prump, and it says Low Life in Old English, and then Tinters underneath it. So long story short on that is when people look at our industry, outsiders, right, whoever that may be, our customers, consumers, they're just like, hey, just can you come over and just give us a quote on this? How much is this going to cost? It's not really much thought into it. And they have no clue what we go through and what we have to go through as owners and tinters to get the job done correctly, to offer them a good service and product, to take on the warranties, to keep the companies running, to pay your employees. This is a real business. This isn't just hire me to come over and slap some film on your window and I go home. So when I came up with Low Life Tinters, I did it as a joke with a guy from Prump. His name is Chris. He owns Accurate Window Tint. And his birthday's on the 4th of January. Mine's on the 5th. So the past few years we've been going out downtown with the wives. So I said, hey, let's make up some funny shirts and wear them out. So we came up with Low Life Tinters. But that was the biggest thing on that. And I just wanted to kind of shine some recognition to everyone that's out here tinting and owning a company and supporting their family and other families, and like just give them some credit. Like, this is just like a normal business, right? This is just like any other business that you have to work at in endless hours. Text at 2 a.m. about, can you tint my windshield? Like, wait, what? Like, I'm sleeping, So that's the thing, I guess.
What I got from what you said was a lot of the success came from you going for it, like actually just going for it, identifying what you felt you needed to do and not being shy about it, being consistent about it, and being like literally just going for it, which a lot of times you said, people can get stuck in their head.
Yeah. And you have to put yourself out there, right? And is the risk worth the reward? There's a time that I can sit here and talk and be silly and joke around just like anyone else, or, whatever it is. But there's, a lot of times where I have to be serious as a business owner. But at the same time, when I'm out there marketing myself and my company, I kind of have fun with it, right? We didn't start this company just to be straight edge, like, hey, we tint windows and we're that's it. Like, we started this because it's a fun industry. We have a lot of fun here and we do a lot of fun things and we make a good living and we get to communicate and we get to see so many people in our community and around the country, right? So for me, I like to meet new people. I honestly, I like everyone, man. I don't care who you are, what you look like. I like you and I'm going to be your friend. And that's just how I am. I want to spread that love and that energy to anyone I can all the time. And that's really what it was. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. You're going to be a little nervous. You might be shy. But as soon as you get out of that comfort zone and you just do it, guess what? You might never see that person again. That's fine. Or that person that you do that to might be so happy that you did that and think that was so cool of you that they say, yeah, can I have a business card? I'd like to get my house tinted, and hey, wow. Okay, that was just for me giving out business cards. So yeah, a lot of the success is just from putting yourself out there. And who knows what's right or wrong? I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know. I did what I thought was right. My wife did what she thought was right. And fortunately, it's panned out pretty well for us. Now we're getting into a different side of the business where we're doing trainings and the business is growing into a different direction. Where, flat glass guidance came up. I'd love to do what I do online with people. I do a lot of FaceTime. I just did one today with a guy out of Victorville. He actually sent me a FaceTime and said, hey, man, I just put on this turf protection film and this is what happened. I got to rip this off. I'm so pissed. And I'm like, no, don't rip it off. Like, I'm going to teach you how to fix that. Like, it's okay. So that reach is really cool. But now what can I do to come to LA to help hands-on and teach your guys that don't know how to do flat glass? How can I help that way? And what program can I put in place to do that, right? That was one thing I talked to Jason about, Tint Dude, when I first called him. I called Jason on the phone about 1.5 years ago on a whim. Didn't think this guy was going to answer because I watched all of his stuff. And I'm like, there's no way this guy's answering for me. I'm just some tinter out of, Vegas, Well, sure enough, man, he answered that phone and it was just awesome. And he gave me so much motivation to, start the tint school if I wanted to, a traveling tint school. He had mentioned that he did something similar in the past, but that gave me a lot of motivation. And when I hooked up with some of these guys, they really helped drive that motivation to do so. But at that time, I'm still building all out tint with my wife. So I don't have the luxury of just leaving right now and doing that because I have to build this company up before I can move on to something different. And this company can still run and be successful. So right now we're kind of to that teeter-totter point. And I think we have maybe our first client out of Texas I spoke with today. They're starting flat glass through their business. So I think we're going to work with them and see what we can figure out, and maybe do some training and fly down there and help train his guys that don't know what they're doing, because they're just learning. So I think that's the next step for us, is to put up some kind of training program where we'll fly to your city and work with you hands-on.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then I think that's
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think that's going to be definitely our next step. One of them. It's funny because we all have to make money, and we're all in business to be in business to make money. But I want to make it as affordable as possible for everyone to be able to get that experience. Now, there are so many things, Eric, that I still have to learn. That was another reason why I started the page. I don't know everything about window tint, and I don't know one person that's going to tell you that they know everything about window tint. Now, almost every tinter tells you they know everything about window tint, but there are things in the back of their mind that they want to ask that they just don't ask because they don't know what they're going to get for a response. There are plenty of things that I still don't know. And the one other main reason of starting that page was to really connect with myself. Where am I at in my career right now? Where can I get to in my career? And how can I have my, I guess the people that join, the members, help me move up as well? How can we all help each other together? That's what I always promote. There's new things. Josh from Green Valley Window Tint, I just texted him today and said, hey, look, I really want to learn some more about the glass and the meter, and what we have to do there. He's like, as you know, a lot of the windows you already know. You've been around the same windows for how many years doing this? But for your client to give them knowledge, this is a great tool to use. It's a Glass Elite Check, and that's something that I don't use right now. I do use a couple meters, but not that one. So just little things like that. And I want to try to grow and improve myself so then I can actually help continue to guide others. Right. So that's part of the goal.
That's amazing. I feel like the community is stepping in where manufacturers maybe left a bit of a void. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm just saying as the industry has grown tremendously in the last decade or so, it has created a void that, there are training programs that different manufacturers offer, but it's created a lot of opportunity for independent trainers and training facilities and traveling trainers as well.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, not everyone can. My biggest thing is, as much as I would love at that point when I was, really pushing Expel and working really hard with Expel, and I got offered to go to their trainings out in Texas, there's no way, I couldn't have left. I personally couldn't have left my company because I know a lot of guys out there and a lot of girls, the owners of their company, they're working owners, they're working managers, they're working sales, they're doing the sales, they're doing the install, they're entering the phone, they're doing the payroll. How can you leave that financially and not make any money next week so you can go fly to a school, even if it was offered as a sponsorship? It's really tough to do so. So that was another reason why I'm like, man, how else can I really reach a bigger realm of people and make it convenient for you? Mobile window tint. A lot of people don't want to leave their house. So, hey, I'll offer you mobile. I'll come right to your house. No problem. Sit at your house, watch a TV. I'll tint your car for you and drop the keys off when I'm done. Come on over, be here at 10, right? So the convenience that we pay for, I wanted to bring that into the training. As much as like Expel and Lumar and so many other companies offer amazing trainings, and I would love to go to one just to gain my knowledge a little bit better. But who's actually saying, you know what, Eric, you just hired on a team of 5 guys. You've built your flat glass. You have, 10 jobs to do next week, but you guys don't know how to install it. Come out to Vegas. And you're like, we can't make it there. Okay, I'm going to come out to LA. I think that is going to reach a decent amount of people that really need the help.
Have you been to a flat glass training from any manufacturer?
No, and I laugh about it. Well, okay.
It hardly exists. I'm going to answer the question for you because I'm asking my own rhetorical question because they barely exist. Barely. Flat glass training from a manufacturer? Tell me. Yeah, I know Expel has one, right?
That was it. Yeah, and so I mean, I don't know how many people. A lot of people on my page don't really know who I am. They just know me from, hey, call that guy. He's going to help you. That's all they know. And that's fine. They'll get to know me, but all they need, that's all they needed to know, right? All they needed to know was call Rob Foster. He'll answer the phone for you and he's going to help you. That's what they know. I put my
unbelievably tremendously valuable to have a resource, to have a number in your phone like that you can feel like, hey, I ran into something. I can ask the question. I have a resource to ask the question. I'm not stuck.
Yeah. And that, Eric, I'm telling you, man, the guys that call me, the first thing they say is, holy shit, you answered your phone. I was nervous to call you. I didn't think you were going to answer your phone. I'm like,
but
yeah,
they
no,
say that to you, and that's what you said about Jason.
exactly. Right. So it kind of turned like full circle, right? It's so odd how that happened. And I've literally put my number on my page to 2,600 people. Hey, give me a call in here, 909-602-3387. That's my personal cell phone, not my business line. Call me anytime you want. And they do. They don't realize the time zone sometimes. So people from the East Coast, dude, I'm not kidding. I swear to
I saw that in a thread the other day where you were talking to Matt about the early start of the day, and he's on the East Coast. You're on the West Coast.
Yeah,
so you
exactly.
Guys both
and you know how that is. Yeah, that morning I got up at 3:30, and it wasn't even 5:30 my time. And he's like, I've been up at the office since 5:30. And I look at the clock, I'm like, damn, it's only 4:30. Like the time zone is so different there, right? But what I'm getting at is like the people on the page, they really don't know me. Tinters here in town, they know me. A lot of people know me in Vegas, obviously, but they don't really know who I am or what the mission is for me. So that's why I really appreciate this show and kind of putting it out on the page. But what I'm getting at is I wanted everyone to know that this does take time, right? I'm giving you my time. That is one of the best resources that you can give to someone that holds the most value, because that's time that I'm never going to get back. That's time that I could be dedicating to my own company, building my own company, working on my clients, whatever it may have you. But I choose to use it differently, and I want to spread that out. So with me putting my number out there and having guys call me or asking questions, I just want everyone to know that is watching or sees this, that's really happens. And I'm really here to guide that. We have people from Australia that call us, believe it or not. I have one guy in China that still texts me. I have people all over the country here, which is just a really cool thing. So, and those guys, those guys can definitely back me up on, I've used or asked those guys to help me explain to the newer guys. I put them in a group chat. Hey, listen, this is so-and-so. I've been working with him directly for a year now. He's built this company. Do you mind helping him a little bit and answering some of the questions? I believe this is a good fit. So, and then I connect those two guys. Now, before you know it, I'm back out of the picture, focusing on the page when I got this company that I've trained and this company that's brand new working together. So that's what I talk about when I'm talking about building the industry together. I'm bringing everyone I can together. Manufacturers, Tint Buster, Film Pro Nation. I mean, everyone that I can. Newest one, Tint Wiz. That's our newest one, Tint Wiz. That is the newest one for us. That is the newest one that I'm pushing, and I'm pushing it because I believe in it. I will not push a product. I will not promote a product or sell a product or anything if I don't personally believe in it. I just won't do it. I don't do it for the stars. I don't do it for the money. I need to believe in it first before I actually push it out to other people. And Tint Wiz, not because it's just you, because I talked to everyone about it. It's a badass app. It works. That's all there is to it.
Thank you. And thank you for the comment you left the other day in the window tint, in Matt's 313 tint group. I think it was.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And I would never want somebody truly to support Tint Wiz or be behind it if they didn't 100% believe in it. But it's something that I just feel like if you use it, if you integrate it, you're going to see the benefit. So thank you for giving it a shot and sharing your experience with it.
Yeah. And that goes to you guys, right? Like, man, I was always told, like, have you ever heard of Tint Wiz? Oh, what the hell's Tint Wiz? No, I've never heard of Tint Wiz. Like, I didn't know, right? I don't know. We used Field Pulse, it was called, and then we used Google Calendar. We didn't know. I had no clue what Tint Wiz was. Then when I started to hear what Tint Wiz was, I was like, we don't think that we're to that level. But what is so nice about your app, or let's say the app, is that it doesn't matter what level you're at. You can be at the very bottom beginning step where you went to flat glass guidance to learn what type of window film to put on a dual pane window and have Tint Wiz to schedule that customer, to have it send a proposal, to have it look professional, to actually give you a margin. Like, it's seamless. It really is, right? So the one thing I love about it, two things. Well, there's a lot, but I can check inventory on the go right now. Right now, to any tinter out there that doesn't have it, you pick up your phone, go to the app. It's so fast. And you literally, what do I have in inventory? I just got a text from that client. Do I have enough? Oh, yeah, I have, 8.2 pounds left. Yeah, I can do that job. That is so cool. If you have a team of people and they check the film in and out, holding inventory, whoever would have thought that it'd be this easy to do inventory on a roll of window film that we were all thinking, how the hell are we going to inventory this? Like, is there a way to even do this? So that, and then the support is beyond amazing. And that's the thing. And for anyone that's watching or looking at this, he doesn't pay me and I don't get any extra benefit from this. I'm telling you the truth. Anytime that I have any question, me, my wife, or my sister-in-law, because we all use the app, we email, it gets answered. It doesn't wait a week. It doesn't say we'll get back to you in 2 weeks. They answer. Cody has got to be the best guy that I've ever met, and the support that he gives is amazing. So I can text Cody at any given time throughout the day, and this guy owns a company as well, and he's busy as hell, and he answers. And I can tag him in a post, and he answers. And it's just great. If the film isn't in the system, hey, it's easy as email Tint Wiz, tell them what the role is, tell them what the name is, and before you know it, it's in the system. Like, it can't get any better, right?
Well, thank you for the kind word. And shout out Cody Becker, the Wiz trainer, an amazing human being, very knowledgeable all around. You know, to a couple of your points, the inventory is something that, you know, speed is important when it comes to flat glass. You want to get out for the consultation quick. You want to turn around and install it quick. Quick is going to earn you more business for sure. And part of that quickness is knowing what film you have available so you can quote it potentially, or at least schedule the installation without having to go somewhere physically, guess, and so on. And the way that it might feel easy when you're thinking about 3 to 10 rolls of window film. But the thing is, as you grow and as time passes, 3 to 10 rolls of window film turn into 30 to 50. And before you know it, it's a whole room. And before you know it, you're trying to figure out where the next room of partial rolls and everything and gold film from that one job. And so the point is, knowing what you have is really important, because that is money just sitting. And to your point, say again.
That's your future jobs, right? Your overstock of inventory, that's money sitting there that you're ready to collect. And if you don't know what you have there, you might as well not even go into the estimate. Like, you need to know that on hand right away.
Yeah, I mean, and anytime you can, like, not only to get rid of your inventory, but anytime you can keep an inventory, so you can be ready to do the job, obviously, that's a big benefit too. Because, you know, I'll see posts from time to time. There was one last week where somebody said, you know, how would you deal with this? And it was a customer, I believe, changing their mind. But the conclusion was, now I'm stuck with this roll of film. And, you know, truly, unless it's an oddball film, like a super oddball film, which you might be able to return it potentially, depending on what it is, you're not stuck with it. You're going to sell it. You're in this business for a long time. That's your inventory. You have that in the back.
Motivation.
Yeah, and you'll have a quick turnaround with that one.
Yeah, because you already know, like, hey, we need to sell this now. Like, this has got to be the first one. So the next salesman that goes, all you're talking about is bronze. That's it. That's all we have right now. Sell it, and it's gone. It's a good kick in the ass to get it sold faster. So to go to your point, Eric, when you're the everything for your company. Now, I believe at one point all of us were, right, and some of us still are. But when you are everything at your company, the accessibility to Tint Wiz, to be able to take care of 2, 3, 4 different positions in your office, all by you doing it at the client's facility or at their house, is one of the most amazing things. And it really is, because Tint Wiz isn't just a great app. It's not just something that just tracks some inventory or just sends out a proposal to a client. It literally acts as additional employees that you only have to pay an X amount of money for per month. And not to mention, it's very inexpensive for the app. I mean, it just is. It's cheaper than any other system we had. But regardless of that, it does take on the role of a couple of people in your office. So being a single business owner or the one-man show out there that's really trying to build, and you don't have the resources to hire that employee, or your wife has a different job for whatever the reason, this is the app for you. As soon as you go in there, you enter the room that you're in, you enter the size of the window, it calculates it for you. You don't have to do anything but done, hit end, hit go, sends an email to Eric, gives him a price, gives him all the information he needs. That's the work of your office that you don't need or don't even have anymore, right? So it's a great, great tool. So yeah, I'm super excited about it, man.
Thank you. And I want to move on from Tint Wiz only because I know we could talk about it endlessly, because I would continue to talk about it too.
Well, it's just me. I can talk about it.
But I want to talk about you. But to your point, what you mentioned just now about being a multiplier for your time, that's the idea, right? Is it's a superpower, whether you're one person or whether you have a team of people, you and your team are going to be able to accomplish things faster. There's tasks you will no longer have to do, like remind people of appointments or ask for a review. There's the speed of getting the proposal out.
That's that is great. The proposal and the review are, man, whoever thought of that, that is amazing.
And getting that proposal to your customer while you're on the job, I can't tell anyone, I can't stress how important it is for anyone doing flat glass. You need to take the measurements quickly and efficiently, get pictures of everything, know the scope, understand the glass, know what's compatible and what the customer is looking for, and get them that proposal right then and there so that you can answer their questions when they're probably confused, and you can get it done for them quickly because they're calling you for a reason. They're not calling you because it doesn't matter. They're calling you because they need it done. And they want it done. They want it off their head. And you being able to do it quickly respects their time, and gets you the job. You leave that person, you're opening yourself to so many reasons why you might not get the job. And you've already invested.
No, it's so true. It's very true. You have to capture it as fast as you can out there. And if you don't, then they're going to find someone else real quick to do it for you. And that's just how it is.
Let's talk about let's talk about the future. What do you see? Let's talk about the future. Tell me the future that as you see it in the next 5 years for you, as far as you mentioned being kind of in this pivotal moment with training and your business is growing and that being a foundation. Where do you see the next 5 years? And in relation to also how you predict, if you can predict your vibe of the economy or anything you're doing to maybe, I don't know,
Yeah. So, the 5-year business plan is great to have, right? So one person that I really look up to in the business is obviously Tim, which I think a lot of us tinters do look up to Tim Ham. So he's crazy. He's crazy. I've never met him in person, but I watch his stuff and
multi-millionaire Tim Ham.
It's amazing to see what Tim does, honestly. I kind of liked Tim from the beginning when I first seen him because he was just wild, and I like that because I kind of put myself in that category, not to his level, but I put myself in the category as I just don't care what they think. I do, but I don't, right? Like professionally I do, but I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think that me wearing a tank top right now on your show is not good. I'm sorry for anyone that doesn't like that, or the tattoos on my neck or maybe on my head or tattoos on my hands. I don't care. It doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, this is who I am and this is what I do. Now, I'll tell you about the 5-year. I was told before I got any of this done, any of my tattoos that you can actually see, if you get tattoos where people can see, you will never make it in this business, window tint. And I'm looking at it like, wait a minute. Every installer that I've ever seen has tattoos on their face. Wait, what do you mean that I'm not going to be able to get business? Well, you're a business owner. You have to conduct yourself in a different way. Oh, not a problem. Within a couple of weeks, I'm not kidding you. My wife is right here. I got all of this done. I've had it now for a long time, but I got my entire neck done. It didn't stop me from getting business. And then I got my hands done. Didn't stop me. Recently, last year, I got my head, the whole back of my head is tattooed. Didn't stop me from getting business, and we continued to grow. So it was just funny when I met Tim.
Did you consider a rap? No, I'm joking. It's a stupid joke. Just
who knows what's to come, to be honest. I'll never go on. I probably won't tattoo my face, but who knows? I'm not going to stop getting tattoos for the business. That's for damn sure. But when I seen Tim, the first time, I didn't really see or know about Tim until I joined Expel, to be honest. But when I seen him, I was like, man, this guy is off the wall, and I like him. He's crazy. He says some wild ass shit, and he is super beyond successful, right? So it was just really cool to see somebody that had that edge, not as on the professional level of suit and tie, and he's just kind of going ham, is what they would say. And look at his success. Yeah, literally, he's going ham, and this guy he's killing it. I mean, if you don't like him, you like him.
Don't you feel like that's like the UFC fighter is eating pizza,
of course,
and then going to fight and he was drinking? It's like John Jones, he's kind of not taking it seriously because he's very talented and he works extremely hard. He has an extreme work ethic. It's almost like what I'm trying to say is it's almost like it's almost like somebody shows up at the basketball court without shoes, but they're dunking. And like, you're just like, oh, this person's making it as hard as they can on themselves, and they're exceptional.
You know, it's really funny. And that's kind of what it is. And it's, a lot of people might view that as being cocky or, oh, it's okay. I got my niece here from Tennessee. So if you hear babies, that's what it is. Yeah, we're so excited. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, she's, oh man, she's just a baby. She's so cute. But anyways, what's so funny is, what was I say? With the way Tim's demeanor is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like just the way his demeanor is and like how everything goes. He is so successful and he knows it. And a lot of people are like, that's cocky. Look how cocky Tim is. And look at what he drives. And look at how he acts. And he couldn't say that. Or why did he say that? You know, he's going to lose his contract. No, I don't think so. Because I think if he lost that contract, he's going to get one that's even bigger. Because people like that. Like, he's so confident in what he does. And it is professional, just not to most people. But it really is. Look at what he's produced. I mean, I don't want to maybe take up so much time on it. But, you know, it just is a great example of someone to look at. They say, hey, let's have fun. Let's do a good job. Let's treat our clients right. Let's treat our employees correctly. And let's really build something. And maybe one day we can sell it.
Absolutely.
Look at what he did. It's amazing. Absolutely. Going into the 5-year plan, I don't want to tint windows for 5 more years. I'm not going to lie to you or anyone else that's on here. I just don't want to. You know, I love tinting. Don't get me wrong. I love tinting, man. That's all I do is tint. That's all I think about. That's what I wake up to. I go to bed to. My wife told me a couple of years ago, can you please start talking about something different than window tint when you come home? No. Nope, I can't. Like, this is what I do. So I'm very involved into the window tint. But in 5 years, Eric, I hope not to be tinting windows, right?
What percentage of windows that your company does now do you tint yourself?
Oh, man.
About, like, it's a guess. Like, you know, kind of a.
To be very honest, if somebody else tints them and I don't, I go back and check them and sometimes have to retint them.
Okay, so
a lot, like 80% of the windows, I tint them.
Okay. Fair.
So this is what, it's really funny. The guy that called me today, and I won't disclose his name yet. Maybe if everything goes through and we fly out to Texas and we do the training with him and we help him out, then we'll make a video together. And I think he's down for that. He's a really super cool dude. He's all about growth. He's on my page. He wants to help us grow as well. He's a great business guy. He owns a very successful shop. He has a couple of them, but they're joining into flat glass, like I said, and he just wants some guidance there. So maybe there's some talk about me flying there to help his team out. But either way, that's part of the 5-year plan is to do that. Right now, I tint about 80% of our windows for our company. Our company, I was just speaking to him about it earlier. What people maybe see online or how we perceive to be, or maybe the way that we act or the content that we put out, that is windows that we tint daily. So we are tinting a lot. We do a lot of jobs, yes. We do have decent contracts, nothing crazy, but we do have some decent contracts. But I do almost all the work myself. So the team is really made up of me as main installer and sales. Melissa, she does all of the logistics. She puts together the jobs. She talks to customers about final signing of proposals. And then my wife does everything from business back end and books and so on. Every once in a while, my father-in-law, he might go grab some window film for us, or my daughter, you know, depending on the situation of the job or wherever it's at. We don't have a shop, so we have low overhead. I was kind of with Tim on that one. Why have a shop? I don't need it. I don't do auto.
Side of flat glass is not having to have necessarily have a shop. You could avoid it. And I really like, from what you just mentioned about your business structure, the fact that you're the salesperson, the consultant, and the installer. And then you have essentially, if I heard you right, you have 2 admins. And admins are an extremely important position in flat glass.
Extremely.
Right?
If you don't have them, you need to get them.
If you tried to be, I'm the installer and I have a helper, and then maybe I'm going to bring another installer on board and I'll do sales or something like that. It's like a lot of people go that route, but they don't realize how unbelievably important admins can be. And they can handle so much of the business that allows you to go out there and sell the job and install the job. And that's it. Get the next one.
That's it right there.
And they have to be moving consistently, so you're not doing a job, and then you have this gap because you were too busy doing the job to do your admin work. So then you're doing your admin work. Now you have the jobs coming up, and you're always back and forth. And you're doing the job and being on the phone pulled as well constantly, which doesn't work.
I have a company like that, man, right now, actually, that I help out on the East Coast. And, I always let them know this. I talk to them a lot, but it's like, hey, it would be great if maybe your wife could help on the weekends when she has off of her job. Or maybe if you have a friend that has a friend that can help you out to do this, it might help you out, because right now you're literally doing everything by yourself, and you're ready to make that one next step up in business to where you need to look at the admin. You need to look one step higher. You don't need to look so far that you're like, oh, this is going to be crazy. Just one step higher. Hire one admin, just one. And you will see right then the stress that's off your shoulder, the success that comes with it. Yes, you're going to have to pay out a payroll, obviously, but it's well worth the cost. It is, because now with that admin, they take care of the stuff that you don't have to anymore. Like you said, now you can tint more jobs. If you're the tinter, you can confidently sell more jobs. You can sleep better at night because you're not doing the BS stuff behind the scenes where no one knows what the hell has to happen. And in return, that turns to money. So that extra money that you make by hiring that admin, you're going to pay them. And then that is really going to build that success for you. Without, I just call them, the old lady is Melissa. That's my sister-in-law. That's what she said. I call her the old lady. And then my wife, right? So without them, I can't do this. They're laughing at me, but I can't do this without them. I can't. Well, because, okay.
Yeah.
My wife works in the back end of the business. Nobody knows who my wife is. They know her from, social media and stuff, but she does nothing up front with the customers at all. The customers don't know her. They have no clue who she is. When she sends out an email, it's signed Robert Foster. It's not signed Jennifer, right? Now, Melissa, she runs, like I said, all the logistics, and she does all the customer service, basically. So the customers believe that Melissa is my wife. That's what they think. So when I get to the job, oh, I spoke to your wife, Melissa. And I'm like, oh, that's my sister-in-law. so lately, I'm just like, over the past year, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. She's my wife. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you talked to her. So, that was kind of the joke there. But without the girls, man, I couldn't do this every day. They honestly make it possible for me to come out here and do all of this stuff. They make it possible for me to be on your show. If they weren't here to take care of that, I couldn't have time to do this. I'd be doing proposals right now, right? Or I would be setting up for tomorrow's work and calling that customer and checking on that job and that net 30 and that net 30. I mean, yeah. So that it's just good advice for anyone. So I would definitely look at that.
Teamwork creates a tremendous difference, and
it really does.
It can make such a positive difference on your day to day. And kind of circling back to what you said, the benefits of a mobile training for flat glass, what you're able to do by going to somebody is, like you said, now you're implanting yourself on their job site and in their environment, and you're able to positively affect their pace, their organization of how they maybe bring things into the job, how they set up, what they're bringing, what their order of processes are. And I do know that and it's not like an insult in any sort of way, but some people tremendously overcomplicate their job site out of maybe not knowing better. And some people get a tremendous amount of work done with very simple procedures.
Very minimal, right?
Minimal. And
there's no process there for those people. And who's going to set that process in place? So there has to be a process for everything. Everything you do, from answering the phone, there is a process there. Whether you want to think on that business aspect or the business mindset, like, well, what's a process? I just answer the phone like, hey, it's $300 to tint your car in ceramic. Bye. Whoa, no. There's steps. So however you want to put it, there's a process to everything that we do. And it doesn't matter. From time client calls, there's a process how to answer that phone. Not a script that you have to read, but there is guidelines that you have to follow. It just has to be done. You get into the home to do an estimate. When you open the door, I always say, when you open the door, you close the deal. That's how it happens. As soon as you open the door for me to come into your house, I'm going to close the deal right then without even saying anything. How do you look? How do you act? How do you present? What do you have in your hands? And what's going to happen going forward? They let you in the home, right? So now you're in the house and you're like, oh, I made it through the door. That's always tell people to calm down. You make it through the door, you're in a good position. They just let you into their home. Now they bring you first place. Where does everyone bring you guys? They bring you to their kitchen or their living room. That's where they bring you. Now, remember, intimate places of the home, children's bedrooms, family rooms, master bedroom. Those places are intimate. If you bring into the bathroom, you probably lost a job. So you get to go into those places. They bring you into the kitchen and into the dining room. You talk about the windows that are in there. If they invite you upstairs or if they invite you into their master, that is one of the most intimate places of the home. You pretty much have the customer right there engaged so deep into what you're talking about that they're interested to hear more. They want to know more. They want to hear more. You're pretty much locked in the whole deal. But if you go in there and you're acting a fool because you have no process and you don't know what questions to ask of what they're trying to accomplish, it's going to be a tough go. And then they're not going to believe anything you're saying. So, and it doesn't matter whether you bring in Lumar or you bring in who knows what. It doesn't matter. So it's really, the process is a huge thing. So the 5-year goal, Eric, I don't want to tint for the next 5 years. I think within 4 years, I would like to be completely done tinting myself. Maybe I would go and, kind of look over the job, and instead of working in the job, I want to overlook it to build it. I would like to do some traveling with tint school somehow, incorporate that. And then long-term, I would like to be able to sell the company. So we've already thought about that a couple of years ago, but we weren't ready, and we wanted to build it more so we can earn a little bit more from it. But we want to keep building the company up, possibly sell it in the future. And that's part of the 5-year goal. Or Melissa, the one that runs our company, there's even thoughts of, hey, maybe one day she takes over the entire company. My wife and I travel and we go and we train around the country and keep All Out Tint alive, but it's just completely ran by somebody else. So that's kind of where we're at. Right now, we want to do more training. We want to do sales training. We want to do business management classes, just little things to help improve ourselves so we can really help out other people, and then put together some kind of a consultant package, basically. So that's kind of the direction.
If you sell the company, would you still pursue the training and the like consulting?
Yeah, because for myself, I love sales. I was offered a job with another company, we'll say, a manufacturer that we all deal with, and I just wasn't ready at that point. I really wanted to keep the company and grow it. What was that, Melissa? Last year, a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago, I got presented an offer. A manufacturer reached out to us, and I turned it down. And I just wasn't ready.
The letter and number, the name of the manufacturer. It starts with a letter and number. So
I love you. I do. I love your questions. They're well known, right? We all know who they are. So yeah, we all know. If you do this business, you know who everyone is. So, but when the offer came through, I just wasn't ready to accept. And All Out Tint is still growing. We're still, what I say, a fairly new company and new to the industry. I'm doing new things. I got connected with 44 Tools, and then with Tint Buster Backpack, and then with Film Pro, and now with you guys and Rodney and all these people that are just so intriguing to me, that really give me the motivation to keep going. And I'm just not ready to get rid of it, So that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Eventually, I would like to. So that's part of the 5-year goal, right? Build it up and really get some good clientele going. I really like how Tim was saying a lot of stuff that he said, because that's really what we do now. So it kind of gave me some motivation listening to the podcast last week with him, and really it kind of gave me reassurance, right? Because I don't know what path I'm on. We're on a path, all of us, but is it the right or wrong one? We don't know, and we just do it every day. And that's the humbled answer. No one knows. We don't know what tomorrow brings. The phone can ring and you can get the contract for the Marriott, or the phone can ring and for some reason you just went bankrupt. We have no clue. So, I think with Tim, it gave me reassurance that we're on the right path. We're doing a lot of things currently that Tim explained that he did, which is really kind of cool. I didn't come from business background. I came from hard work and dedication and loyalty. My wife and Melissa did come from business background, so that kind of helped incorporate everything together. So I think once you put all that together, that's a direction that all of us are going. Right now, we're just really focusing on each other in the business and our clients. That's really what it is.
Yeah, like you said, you never know where life's going to take you, but doing the things like you mentioned got you to where you are now.
Yeah,
is going, I believe, is what's important to get you wherever you want to go. The key is, having some sort of vision, having that 5-year plan, that 10-year plan, aiming towards it, doing the things that you think are best to get there, and then knowing that the road may take a turn and you're going to have to make the turn, and maybe it takes you somewhere better.
And that's what we all have to, we have to realize that, right? That the path that we believe that we're on, that's only straight and we're just killing it straight forward. We need to, in my opinion, we all need to kind of just ease down, relax, see what we're doing, see what's in front of us. Don't just jump the gun. Don't go out and buy the biggest, baddest plotter that you've seen for 80 grand and finance it. That's just my own opinion. We need to be careful on what we're doing, because this business, if you're new into this business, it changes overnight. So we really have to be careful. That's just me giving out, it's my advice. It's my advice. It might be wrong. It might be right, but slow down. You're killing it. You're doing great, but you don't know what next week's going to bring. You don't know if the contract that you just landed, that company is going to shut down. You don't know their finances. You don't know how they conduct business. All you know is you're tinting 80 locations. That's all you know until next week comes and they went bankrupt. And now you're like, oh my God, I just spent all this money. I had, now what do I do? So that's just a little advice, I guess, we got to step back and make sure that our path is straight. And if it does take a right or a left, we just go with the flow. Don't get discouraged and shut down and say this sucks and I can't do this and screw this business. There's a way, reach out to your resources, talk to people There's a lot of people that will support you in this business. There are a lot of people that don't, but find the ones that do, because they're out there. They just are, a lot of guys that own products, that sell tools. That sell tools. They're willing to help. They're not jerks. They're not stuck up. They're actually, they'll answer their phone. And I know firsthand, because I've called every one of them personally, not knowing who was going to answer. And every one of them answered their phone. And they didn't even, all they seen was a California number pop up. They didn't know who it was, right? And these are very successful guys in our industry. But at that time, I needed reassurance for myself to continue going on the path I was going. We were ready to kind of just say, oh, screw it. We're just to that point, where we got frustrated. So the reassurance that I got from the manufacturers and from the individuals that created these amazing tools for our industry, those are the people we need to really lean on, and each other. So, yeah.
You're an XPEL dealer?
Yeah. I just tried. It cut out. So I was trying to figure it did. Like at first, all I heard is XPEL dealer. So I'm like, shit, he must have said XPEL.
You're an XPEL dealer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people change or they become more like, it's not bad. It just, I'm
no, of course.
So I remember seeing last year.
So I'm just going to kind of, a lot of people actually ask me lately, like, man, I see you like tagging Johnson now. What the hell happened? Hey, I see you just tagged American Standard. What happened? Right? It's not that something always has to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's different films that gain different popularity through our industry. Just how it is. There's names out there that are huge and that everyone's like, I'm just going to use Poppy for the example. I need a tint buster. Why? Everyone has it. So why do you need it? Like you don't even do that work. Like, but I need it, right? So if the name brand built so much popularity around it, and if you don't have that as a tinter, people are going to look down on you. To some people, that's a problem. So what I'm getting at is your client, they don't know, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. Don't get me wrong here. Whether you just put American Standard 8 mil clear, or if you put XPEL 8 mil clear, or 3M 8 mil clear, or you put Edge 8 mil clear, they have no clue. As the tinter, what film works best for you? What film works best for your client at that time? Are you offering a service that's going to benefit them? And are you going to warranty the product, whether it's 3M or American Standard? Just because American Standard doesn't have the best name in our industry for whatever the reason, and everyone says bad things about them, and everyone says great things about 3M, why is that film better? And does your consumer know that or not? Or as the tinter, you know that. And because you don't want any other tinters or any other companies to look down on your company or you as an individual, you're like, screw American Standard. I only use 3M because they're the biggest name out there. So to get to your point, I use at the moment XPEL. We have them on contract, not XPEL on contract, but we have contract companies that we use XPEL products on. So we use XPEL. We use Johnson. I've had great success with Johnson. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been with Johnson now for like 6 months, 7 months, and I use their films when I need to use them, and they're great. I haven't had an issue. Edge window film. I just used Edge Silver not too long ago. It was a good film. This is the thing, man. I'm here for everybody, everyone. That means you as the tinter, you as the tint wizard, you as the company, you as the tool manufacturer. I'm not here to say, hey, I only work with Eric and I only work with Expel because they're the best and that's it. That's not the truth, right? There's other products out there and there's other really good benefits about a lot of things that we have in our industry. So I kind of get caught up sometimes when people are like, I only use this because they're the best. They might be to them, but to other people and the needs of your client, what's the best for them, you know? So yeah, I'm kind of use whoever. I mean,
that makes sense, especially with flat glass out of everything. You have a lot of different types of glass out there, different, and then you also have to balance that with customers' preferences, right? Different shades they like or don't like, and tones and
price point.
And price point. So flat glass is a part of the window tint industry where, you know, with automotive, I would say you're probably overcomplicating it if you're carrying multiple brands and
Absolutely.
you just do
I agree.
But with
100%
flat glass,
agree.
You really, no matter what, it never hurts you to have a film catalog, like a PDF or of all the films, every brand that you kind of realistically can gather. So you kind of get an idea like, oh, that's the company that makes a green film and a blue film and a gold film. And then this
absolutely
company, like, you just need to know what the brands have and then potentially establish access before you need it. But at least knowing it exists. But you know, a little bit.
That's such a good point. I'm really glad you brought this up. You know, I guess I'm the tinter that doesn't mind to say what it is, and I'm the owner that doesn't mind to say what it is. I'm definitely not Tim Ham, but I don't mind to spread a little bit of truth to what I believe is the truth. I've had window film from a very top manufacturer in our industry do a lot of bad things to us. The film, right? So the film failed. It did. Why? Because a human made it. Why? Because the machine's not perfect. Why? Because maybe the adhesive failed. Maybe it was a bad roll. We understand that. That's totally fine. Doesn't mean that their whole company is shit. It just means that there was an error. Because I don't remember the last time that you cut 8mm security without leaving a crease at the corner before you hit it. So, you know, let's call it what it is here. But at the end of the day, I've had premium film that I never even thought that I could afford to buy or charge a customer that much money to have fail on me in front of me and the client. Now I have to explain, why did that just come off of the window? Wait, what? I just spent 25 grand to tint my house and the film you put on is falling off? Wait a minute. So there's certain things like that. So what I'm getting at is, what is best for the installer? What's best for install friendly and easy accessibility for you? We have a manufacturer that's a half an hour away. Right. So in the tint, American Standard window film is literally a half an hour from us. Just yesterday, so we tint some gas stations in town. So quick story. The gas station the personnel calls us, sends an email to the office. I'm sorry. We're having an issue with one of the stores in Vegas. It faces southeast. It's getting hit so hard with the sun. The slot machines are overheating and shutting down, and the candy bars are melting. We need this tinted now. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, Expel, 3 to 5 days ship. Johnson, usually next day, but could be 2 days. Not really sure. I mean, but they're within 2 days. They're really good. So what I'm getting at is, I call in the order to California. It might take 2 days because who knows if UPS trucks shut down. But I can call American Standard and say, hey, that Illusion window film that blocks 82% of the heat, can I order a roll of that? Not a problem, Rob. It'll be ready in an hour. Thank you so much. Call my client back. Well, the office calls the client back. Hey, guys, you know what? Luckily, our manufacturer here in town, they have the product on hand. Rob's going to go pick it up. He'll be there in an hour and a half to get that tinted for you. Done. And you're telling me that you won't do that because they don't have a good name? Well, no. I mean,
and you might need Matico blister-free film, so that's your only Matico purchase, but you may need it.
Yes,
there
sir.
may be a 6mm anti-graffiti that only one company makes in 72. Everybody makes it
Absolutely.
in 60. You need to know.
Absolutely.
And just when you have that at your reach, you kind of have, I think, the confidence to make it happen. And
it's fun. It's so fun.
There's not one film company that makes every single film that has.
And that's what I love about the flat glass, right? Automotive, as we all know, unless we're buying some crazy automotive film, we have black, and clear. Which one do you want? Black, clear, or I'm sorry, blue? You know, what one do you want, guys? Because that's your choice. Whether it came from Autobahn, it came from Lumar, it came from Expel, it came from I don't care where. You tell me what shade you want, but it's going to be charcoal. Maybe it might be a tint of brown, depending on who you get it from. But you know what I'm saying. When you go, well, it's true, right? There is a manufacturer that makes like a brown color. But either way, with flat glass, I go to your house. You have no homeowner association. You have a sunroom, and you have 50 windows on the sunroom, and you want it to be the coolest disco-looking room there is. Hey, Expel, do you have the gold and purple and blue and red film? No. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just go through the list. Well, there is a company that makes that colored film. So if you're dedicated to only one flat glass company to manufacture your film, you're giving yourself a disservice, right? And then your client. Instead, you can say, well, Johnson has like every color that you want. And because Johnson makes their own film, if I want to say, hey, can you make the pink one with the purple stripe in it? Yeah, you have to buy this much, but no problem. We'll try it out. You know, you have options when it comes to flat glass, and that's what I like about it.
I'd like your thoughts on the concept that.
Are you sure?
Yes. I'd like your thoughts on the concept that sometimes manufacturers potentially, let's see how to word this best.
I can't wait to hear this.
No, it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes I feel like potentially this could happen where a manufacturer says, Robert, you're killing it. Keep killing it. And as you continue to kill it and build that brand in your area, if you're installing primarily a certain brand because you can sell it, because it's a unique value prop to the customer, because I have this film, this brand, I believe in this film is going to be the best choice for you for XYZ reason. And then potentially you end up with, as you're successful, we're not talking year one, we're talking like year 5, year 6, year 8, you end up with a zillion of those other dealers around you that all have access to that same film. You sell the customer, you maybe don't get the signature on the dot. They very easily can get 4 other quotes, and the price starts to deteriorate. And then you potentially look for either a more unique film, or you have to differentiate your company to where they go, you make it super clear that it's not like, yeah, you sold them that film, but they don't consider somebody else because I don't want anybody with Robert's team in my house and so on, you know, and I don't trust them scratching my glass potentially. I don't know. I don't want to spend $8,000 just with the cheapest tinter. I want to spend it with the Robert's company. How do you see all that? Has that been anything you've experienced, being that you're in an area with so much competition to where you're doing the hard work on the product and then you're getting price shopped?
Yeah. So that brings it to a good point, because I just put a post up yesterday or the day before, and I wanted to see the reaction of the people. So flat glass guidance, we keep it about flat glass. Yes. But I want to start incorporating certain things into that group. I'm going to answer your question, but I want to incorporate certain things into that group where I want people to start thinking more outside of the box instead of just like, how do I cut the film? How did Rob do that with the hard card? Why did he cut the corner? Or whatever the case is, right? I want people to start to not look at just a physical part of laying window film, but what did I have to do to get to that point to make a video in a customer's home or at their business to show you guys so you can learn. I want them to see the other side of the business in a short form without getting too far into being like business savvy technical, right? Because I want to keep the page fun. I don't want people to get lost. So my biggest thing is do people buy people or do people buy product? That was the question. Do people buy people first or the product first?
Depends what country. No, I'm just kidding. That's a horrible joke.
No, it's a good joke because you're right. It does. It absolutely does. So people buy people, right?
100%.
So I know the question. I know the answer to the question that I'm asking of what I believe is true. But I want to see out of the people like, hey, who agrees with me? Who is going to challenge me? And if they challenge me, I would like to ask why. What is the reason behind it, right? So, obviously a lot of guys like, hey, people buy people. A lot of people buy people. Well, I know they do, because I don't care if you have the Ferrari. If you're a complete jerk, you're not going to buy the Ferrari from that guy, because you're like, I'm not going to buy this for him to make that sale.
You're right. But let me just interject with this question for you.
Sure.
I'm the customer. You're Rob. Rob, I loved meeting you. You're a gentleman. I want to be your friend. You're the greatest guy. I like how you treated the house and so on. I love the product you presented us. And the only thing is, I'm getting this quote from another company that's the same product, the same brand, and they have good reviews. And it's, 30% cheaper, which isn't nothing.
Right.
I want to go with you, Rob. What do I do? How do we deal with this?
This is where we're at. There's so many answers, Eric, to that question, because there's some companies that say, this is our bottom line price, the first price we give, that's our best price, and we're not going to budge. We don't care. If you don't want our product and you don't like our service and you don't believe in us right away for $18 a square foot, you're welcome to go to Jimmy's shop. We don't care. I'm not that way. I want to build that relationship with everyone, right? Because we don't, it's really tough. We don't get that a lot. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we don't advertise Google, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and instead I just make videos and help people, I get referred from you to you to you. So by the time it gets to you, John's already said, Eric, go with Rob. This is his pricing. This is where we're at. I got paid $3,200 to tint my 2-bedroom house, but this is why. And this is amazing. Call them. So when they call, and I'm not saying this happens every time, dude, our success rate for sales is pretty high. And our prices are not the cheapest in the valley. We're not the cheapest company out here. We're just not. But because we got so many referral base, I don't run into that a lot, and that's the truth. But the times that we have, we do have a system where we will drop price. And I'm not too proud. It's totally fine. Now, there's a manufacturer that I currently use that say, don't drop your price. You have to hold us at this standard. That's it. Well, sorry, because if I have to drop the price to get the job, I'm probably going to drop the price instead of having guys sit in the shop, right? I'm going to drop the price. So it kind of really depends on where you're at and how your mindset is. You could be the guy that's too proud, or the company that's too proud and say, you don't want my business at 18? You're missing out. Good luck. We don't know what you're going to get. Well, we're telling you what we're going to get. We're going to get the same product that you have. We're just to use Expel. We're going to get the Clearview Plus ceramic from Expel, just like you have. Yeah, but you don't know how they're going to install it. You don't know how it's going to look. No. I appreciate you having me at your house, first of all. I appreciate that I was able to drive to your house to give you the estimate and proposal. I want to make that deal with you. I didn't drive a half an hour across town on the 15 stuck in traffic and almost got hit twice to come to your house to be cocky. No, I came to your house to be humble and fair, because being fair is what's going to get us ahead. Being cocky is going to set us back, right? And then they say, John referred you. What? He didn't have to go through this. Well, sorry. No, absolutely not. So we do have a system to answer the question. We start at a certain price point. We start at $18 for CVP. At $18, after 2 days, Tint Wiz gives a notification, and we love Tint Wiz. So Tint Wiz will send out a reminder, right, to your client. Hey, don't forget about us. We're here. What'd you think? Well, during that, we put our own personal message to it. Hey, just so you know, we've seen that you viewed the proposal, blah, blah, blah. We're willing to drop to this amount after we talk to them. We don't just drop it, right? Hey, we call Eric. What do you think about the proposal? What can I answer? What can I do? You want me to put a sample on? Whatever the case is. The price is a little bit high, man. Hey, you know what? Let me see what I can do. I really want to earn your business. I want to do a great job for you. Suck up the pride, everyone. I want to work for you. We really appreciate being here. I'm going to knock down 7% for you. We can do it for X amount of dollars. Typically, that's it. Done. Deposit made. So that's my outlook on it. That's what we do. There's obviously a breaking point. I hope that a lot of people that are in this business have a margin that they try to obtain, or maybe between 48 and 55% or whatever it is. And if you go under the percentage of where you need to be before your bottom line is gone, you don't go any further. But if you're stuck at, I only make 64% margin and that's it, I don't know. To me, it's not right, but that's just me and how we run our company.
What a great answer. I love how you mentioned you would handle it, but I even more love that you said you don't run into it that often, because like you said, if you're getting your customers from referrals, you're going to have potentially the lowest rate of that. Now, if you're getting your customers from very, like, hypothetically, you know, high frequency, low intent Facebook ads where info's pre-filled in and they're hitting submit, so they might not even remember, and like, how'd you get my information? The client experience down the whole entire process from first contact down to consultation, and so it's going to be different because the trust level is different.
It is.
And in between those two extremes, there's companies that maybe they found you, but you're the 5th company they called and you have the least reviews, or you're the most reviews and you're the first one that popped up. That also is going to change. So I think sometimes people will.
And that's so great that you just said that, man.
People get discouraged potentially. So right. And they'll say, it's my area, or I don't know what to do, and this and that. And it really is just a matter of being persistent and understanding for your situation. And changing maybe where you're getting your leads from, and maybe negotiating the price so you get that review, so you get that referral, and then that gets that ball rolling.
Right. So a lot of, man, I love that you said that, because you're right. There's this spectrum here, and then there's this one way the hell over here. And it is so much different from you referred your friend to me. Because when I go to that referral, like you said, it's almost streamlined. It's not to be cocky, I already got the job. But when I see referral on Tint Wiz, I'm pretty easy going, man. I'm not gonna lie. I go in there, I bring my stuff, I present it, I show a heat lamp, I show a couple meters. You know, we do a heat lamp display, which I like it. You know, I want to show the client firsthand kind of what it feels like so they get a better idea. But either way, I feel really confident when I go into that. Now, when I go into one that just says Facebook lead, now I'm like, shit. Like, okay, Rob, back to basics, right? I'm in the car or in the truck, and I'm like, back to basics. Make sure you say the right things. Make sure you do the right stuff. This is a brand new client. They don't know you. They've never seen you. You know, so there is a big difference there. And it's funny that you mentioned that. I was just on the phone with somebody before you text me and said, are you ready? So the guy he called and asked me, one of my buddies, hey, how the hell are you staying as busy as you are? I just looked at Google and you're not even close to the first page. And I said, I know, because I don't go on there. I don't even ask for reviews on there. I just don't do that. You know, I don't do any of that. I just don't. We do referral. What is your percentage? So Melissa does all of our admin, right? So, hey, what's the percentage that we do for referrals or advertising? Where are we at here? And she's like 88% referrals. That's our company. Oh shit. Wow. Okay. So I told him, and he's like, I don't believe it. How do you stay that busy just on referrals? How do you know so many people? Like, it's not that I know so many people. It's that I did a great job for Eric. And Eric really appreciated the extra time I took to wash the outside of his window so I could see what I was doing. It actually benefited me. But in Eric's mind, I just washed the outside of his windows for free. No, I did it so I could see what I did. But either way, I did such a great job for him, and my team did so good with the customer service side from start to finish that he not only told his uncle, but he told his buddies, and his buddies told his mom, and his mom told a friend. Dude, it spreads like wildfire. Like wildfire.
And you don't spread average services, you spread exceptional experiences.
That's it, hands down. So that's why I kind of look at Tim Ham. You go and get service done by Tim Ham, and you're like, man, that guy was off the wall. He's crazy. I love it. Dad, you got to go get your car PPF from Tim. If that guy is there, he's going to make you laugh. You're not going to believe the way he acts. And that just, you spread that, right? And the service, right? It's just so, it's funny you say that, because if anyone that's watching this can get some of those points and they can really kind of take them in and do that, they'll see a huge increase in their business. They really will. You know, and we just sat down. We actually have a meeting after this is done. But we sat down earlier and said, hey, let's try to do some Facebook ads. And I'll tell you, Ricky and Josh Miller, just like I said last week or 2 weeks on the show, they run our valley. They do. I appreciate your comment. You too. You know, I mean, I'm everywhere just like them.
You're doing a ton of work. You're obviously.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, of course. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And, you know, all the work that we post is what we do daily. You know, it's not just from 6 months ago and just grab a whole bunch of shit and put it on there. You know, it's stuff I do every day. So, yeah, I mean, for what we do in our team of really 3 people, we do a lot of stuff. So, but they, you know,
I'm telling you, not to take anything away from you. It's the right division of power. It's the admins. I'm telling you, the key to a successful flat glass company is strong admin. You need strong sales. Everybody has to be strong, but admins cannot be forgotten. They are like an equal, if not, who knows, maybe bigger part of the operation.
They are, and it's no lie. So if anyone watched this show today, you know, I hope that's one thing that they can take out of this, of how can they build their company and what can they do to get to the next level. Hire your admin. That's it. Hire them, you know, train them. They got to know. They have to be as equally as strong as you, if not better. Probably have to be a little bit more mind power than you do, right? So you need to really find a strong one. But when you find that person and it clicks, oh my gosh, you're probably going to email us and say thanks.
And right. And one of the things that we can say, like I at least I can say, is not all admins are good, right? So you need a good admin. And something about an admin, like you just said, is they're going to be like more organized than you. They're going to be like a little savvy with technology. They should be good with like Microsoft Excel type of deal or Google Docs. And like something like Tint Wiz should be like, oh, this is kind of easy, or like this seems intuitive.
Oh,
like it's somebody who's a fucking mess. If they're a mess, they shouldn't be your admin. So,
and that's what's funny you say that. Tint Wiz is easy to understand, right? So Tint Wiz is easy to understand. I'm not an admin. I'm a great installer. I'm a great sales guy, and I'll talk your freaking head off, and you'll buy our shit. But I don't know much about the admin stuff. I didn't even set up this laptop that I'm talking to you on. My wife did all this, so whatever. But that's good. That's teamwork, right? Like, hey, babe, can you get this set up for me? I don't know what the hell I'm trying to do. Where's the link he sent you? Go, what? He sent you something? Oh, yeah, let me send that to you. You know, so that's just how it is. But with us, Tint Wiz, Melissa was really engaged in Jennifer, and they're the ones that really run the show. So they're like so engaged in Tint Wiz when we first got it that's all they did. Before I knew it, they had Tint Wiz up and running, jobs scheduled, customers' names in, reviews being sent, like all this stuff. Dude, it would have took me 6 months with Cody on the phone, and I probably would have had to fly to Texas, honestly. So you're right. You know, to get that admin, you know, it's tremendous. You go through a show for an hour and a half, man, and you start to bring up things that you already talked about. And one of them is, because it's important, it's you try to get the point across to the people that this will really help build your business. It really, truly will. And, you know, to have fun and go out there and make jokes and sell window film and tint some houses and businesses is great. But at the end of the day, when I want to know the percentages of sales that I closed, all I have to do, hey, what did we close last month? There's not a, I don't know. There's not a, let me see if I can find out. This is what we did. And that's what I want, right? And that's all the stuff that I want to know as a sales guy and the owner. Where are we at on numbers? Where's our margin? Where's our net? Where's our gross? What are we doing? So my wife deals with all the finances for everything, personal and the business. I don't like it. I like to make the money. I don't really like to know it. I like to make it though. And that's the truth. But I want to know certain things. Hey, where are we at on percentages? Where did we close out on jobs? How many estimates did we do? How many did we get? What does that break down to? But any question that I ask these girls, the answer is there, man, within minutes, because it's that streamlined, right? It's following the process. So that's one of the big things. So admin is good. Advertising yourself first. Push yourself out there. That's what we want to do, is really get your name known. I didn't care if everyone knew All Out Tint or not, because I wasn't trying to build my business. I was trying to build my name first. I want people to know who I am. Once they know me, they'll know All Out Tint. They'll know it. Someone said, hey, don't do AOT. No one's going to know what that means. Well, eventually they will. Maybe not right now, but they're going to find out. Now everyone, they see AOT. We have guys online that ask, hey, when are you going to get more shirts? We're going to buy them. I've already sold hats. Like all these stuff. It grows, right? So brand yourself. People buy people first, and then they buy the product. So buy me, then you're going to buy the product. They buy me. They use the squeegees I use. They use, I think I'm pretty proud. I think I got 3 people sign up Tint Wiz. So they use Tint Wiz. They use the tarps. They use the towels. They want all the same tools, you know, because they believe in the mission. They believe in what I do, and they see it firsthand. So, you know, that's some good stuff to take away from this one. I like this podcast, even though it's ours.
Beautiful. Well, I do as well. I think it's like what you're doing is tremendous, and it feels like you're just getting started. And what I've seen happen in the last year, because I didn't know you at all until I met you at WFCT last year, and from then until now, thousands of people know you, myself included, and you've made an impact on the industry. So,
no, thank you. I really appreciate that, man, and I'm very humbled by it when I get the text from guys that I've trained or that I've helped out or just guided to say, hey, thank you so much. Like, you have no idea. We're now donating to such and such, or we can now pay our rent a month in advance, and we have never made this kind of money. just little things, man, just to really know that I've helped that family out and that guy out to really succeed. That's what it's about. Someone, Green Valley Window Tint, Eric, what the hell? Ricky asked me on Monday, Ricky or Josh, why do you want to build your business? Why do you want to get bigger? What is your goal? What are you going to do when you're the biggest? What are you going to buy? So these were some of the questions on his show, right? The honest to God truth is, I don't have a boat, but if I did, I don't want to buy a bigger boat. I don't need a bigger lifted truck. I don't need a faster Dodge. I don't need a bigger house. I'm content with what I have now. So the more that we can build All Out Tint within the 5-year plan, maybe before selling or maybe before giving it off to my sister-in-law, I want to be able to build this as manageable as I can before I don't want it out of hand, so I can help feed you and your family and teach you a trade that you can bring with you through your life. I want to do the best that I can for you and your family and the community. That's what I want by getting bigger. I don't need bigger things, but what can I do to impact? What can my legacy be when I'm gone? What can I be remembered by? That's what I think of daily. Not just someone that just started All Out Tint. No. What else can I be? I can be better than that. I was not put here just to start All Out Tint, know some people and go. I want to be able to build that. And I want people to take the good from what I do and spread that as well. So as I get bigger, I want to hire some people to get bigger with me. And I want them to feed their families, and for them to be successful and feel what I feel inside from me going to work tomorrow to tint a window. Eric, I'm going to tint a window tomorrow, and I can't wait to wake up to go and tint that damn window. And I'm serious. That's the truth. I love what I do because I know what it does. And I want people to feel that excitement at work. I always say, I don't work, man. I'm retired. I do this shit for fun. I love this stuff. Truly love it. And if I can make a smile on someone's face by doing something I love daily, man, I'm all for it. The people that I reach on a daily basis from doing something I love is incredible. It really is. That's a feeling that you can't explain it, man. You know, it's something that I can help people earn. I can definitely guide them to that direction to get that same feeling. And once they get it, it spreads better than any alcohol or drug you ever had. You know, this is my drugs, bro. This is it. This is my drug right here. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. This is my drugs. Window tint. I get high on window tint every day.
Thank you for getting high with me for the last 90 minutes. And
dude, it was great. I can't believe it was 90 minutes. I'm sweating my ass off, drinking water. Everyone's looking at me funny.
Yeah, but the time passes fast in the purple purgatory. 20 minutes.
Dude, I love it. I didn't even know it was purple. I can't see colors. No one told me it was purple.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea it was purple. I see it. It looks really cool, but I didn't know what color it was. Babe, why didn't you tell me that his whole screen is purple? They both just looked at me like, what? I don't know, whatever. But yeah, no.
Are you calling? Did you hear your call? What's going on here? You can't.
Hang on. Some customers are like, what color film do you believe is going to go best with my decor? Shit. You know what? I don't know. You can go with this clear. Like, I really don't know. I can't answer that. I'm not a decorator or designer. I said, but I can FaceTime my wife and show her your house. She's really good with this stuff. And maybe I can get her opinion. And a lot of times they're like, yeah, that would be great if you can do that. No problem. I can't, dude, I don't know what. Like, I can see silver and black, obviously. But when it comes into like evening view, or it comes into whatever popular film, you know, that's maybe like a brown or a gray, or dude, I couldn't tell you what color that is. I have no idea. I know silver and I know black. I mean, I know bronze now, but I don't know whether to call it gold or yellow, or I don't know. All I know is it's window film. I'm not good with the colors.
Bronze, good when you're looking out into the desert.
Hey, bronze. Hey, anyone that's watching this,
golden environment.
It is. Anyone that's in Arizona, Utah, Vegas, anywhere there's any desert, I guarantee right now, if you start to mention bronze, considerably the darker ones, 25 or 20, your clients are going to love it. It has great teaser. It has a great color from the outside looking in with privacy. It has a great color from the inside looking out. It like makes everything 3D of the desert. It's a beautiful film. I'll say that. I love that film. We used so much of that film that the manufacturer called and said, hey, we made extra film because we know you're going to sell it. Swear to you. That's how much we sold of bronze. It was super cool that year.
Bronze is beautiful.
Yeah.
Given the right environment, you don't necessarily want bronze if you're facing the ocean, but
no. What do you want when you face the ocean?
You want something that's has no metal, ideally, because ideally you want to be able to see out at night. You don't need the reflection coming back. So, and then also if you can get something with no metal as well, you don't have to worry about it corroding because if you're close to the ocean. So, you know,
and that happens.
A dye-free, metal-free ceramic would be ideal. Keep the most natural view in and out while maintaining the heat rejection. Maybe a ceramic 40 if you need to go on the darker side.
Ceramic 40. I like that ceramic 40. That's actually a good one. That's actually wouldn't be bad.
Ceramic 40. You can also go with reflective if you have to, but you have to let them know at night you're going to have a mirror here. You're not going to have your view out.
Yeah. And, the only one that might not be that bad is silver 50. Reflection 50. You might get a little bit less at night, but you're still going to get it. But this is good for anyone out there near the ocean, wherever they're at watching this, because they can now say, hey, I learned something. I know what film I can sell tomorrow at the ocean.
Yeah, cool. You're going to definitely want to go with something ideally that preserves their view. And that applies not just to the ocean, but any view somebody has. You have to consider that if you put anything with any additional reflection on there, like a dual reflective or God forbid a silver in their home, or a bronze or whatever, you're going to create a mirror for them at night. And you have to explain that during the sales process very thoroughly and consider that in your recommendation, because if not, you may have a very uncomfortable call the first night when it gets dark and they turn their lights on.
So it's funny you say that, because Eric, there's so many times that I hear that salesmen have not said that. So glass has reflectivity to it without anything on it, just by itself, right? We see it all the time. Well, if you haven't seen it, look at your own windows if they're not tinted, but it already has a reflective to it. So they're like, oh man, now I'm going to add a reflective to it. And especially when you do dual reflective, you're kind of screwed at night. But the biggest, man, one of the things to kind of take away from that is the more transparent you can be with your customer, whether you think you're going to lose the sale or not lose the sale, or you might be talking yourself out of a sale, it's better to be upfront right away. Right away. Eric, this is great heat rejection. Right? This is great. Right. I mean,
you're not presenting them something that fell down from the heavens. You are finding their problem, their preferences, their situation, and then you're finding the solution and saying, hey, this is the items from the menu that are going to meet what you're looking for. And now it comes down to price point and preference, right?
And that's what it is, and that, the biggest thing in sales, that I say to a lot of people is that are asking like, hey, how do you even present it? What do you even say to the customer? Well, we all know that they want heat rejection. It's hot. We all know that they want a glare reduction because they can't see their TV. Just about every customer has no clue about UV rays, and they don't even know that the film blocks 99% of it. They have no clue. So that's an added benefit for sales as a pitch, right? So that's good. Hey, all of our films carry 99% UV protection, which is a great thing to say. My biggest thing is the very first thing when Melissa answers the phone, when you call our company name, blah, blah, blah. What are you trying to accomplish by getting window film?
Exactly.
That's it. That's one question. And I tell it to everybody I train. What are you trying to accomplish by getting window film? Well, someone tried to break in. Now we know, as a sales guy, they put that in the notes. Someone tried to break in. We know when we go there, we're going to present 8 mil security right away. It's really hot in my bedroom. They were looking for high heat rejection window film. That goes in the notes in Tint Wiz. So when the installer looks, the salesman looks, then they already know ahead of time. So now you have your favorite high heat rejection films in your sales book with your presentation. You already know what you're going to say because you said it a million other times. And then you go to town. Or, hey, I just want UV protection to protect my furniture. So these are the questions that I always say, hey, ask your client this. What do you guys say when you go in? Like,
and right there, that's a point real quick on that point of, and maybe they want, you said UV protection. So if they want UV protection, and if they verbalize it as UV protection, oftentimes they have no idea what UV protection is. So they might mean anything.
Yes, sir.
UV, that's good. Now, oftentimes people say I want UV protection, and in their mind, what they want is fade protection. So that's a perfect time to then break down. Hey, this is what causes fading. It's actually comprised of 3 different elements. It's not just the UV protection, but it's visible light and it's heat. So any heat that comes in is going to cause fading, any visible light. So the more important your fading is, the darker you want to go. And that just is what it is. You want no fading, put it in a dark room, in a pitch black room, and you're going to protect it. And then anywhere from there is a compromise, right? How valuable is the art? How important is the floor? How expensive is the rug? What did you pay for the curtains and all that? So you are finding them the best solution. And the reason I kind of jumped on that was because obviously Michael Lawrence has made it a popular topic in the auto side of things to point out that people are being deceptive when they're going on their websites or sales pitches with automotive film saying like, hey, this film provides, 98% UV protection. So that's heat. And that, with automotive, I can see why you feel like it's a strength to say this blocks all the heat, and then they get in the car, they drive away, and hopefully you never hear from them again. But with a home, that is not your sales pitch. It is never your sales pitch.
Obviously, with the home, the teaser is much different. So one thing, maybe this is for a different show, but I'm on my page, even at 313 on Window Film Pros, all these pages, a lot of people are like, hey, don't sell the product by IR, sell it by teaser. Tell the customer the teaser. Well, I get it. But if you tell your customer the teaser is 58, they're probably gonna look at you like, what did you just say? What is a teaser? Oh, the total solar energy rejected. And they're still gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just give me something to block the heat. But what do you do in the instant where your manufacturer only advertises it to the dealer as infrared? There's no teaser. They don't list the teaser, but they do list it as infrared. Now, how do you present that to your client?
Flat glass, and they don't.
No, for auto, because you mentioned auto. Sorry.
Oh, got it. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. No,
for auto, like
if you won't provide, you're right. Right.
Yeah, but now so in that question, for flat glass, there are still a lot of companies, manufacturers. Well, wait, are they considered manufacturers if they don't make the film? Whatever.
Yes, everybody's a manufacturer if if their name is on the box. Call them a manufacturer.
Amen. There you go. I love it. Perfect. So, I get it. I get it. We have a lot of manufacturers.
It's like we do this step of the process, so we make our own film, but then it's being made 80% in somebody else's factory. But they're saying, and then you go there in between, and I'm just happy when you see a name in a box. They're being responsible for the film. Right. They're the manufacturer. Call it that.
Okay, so that's a good point, and I know we're not talking about that, but that's like pick your poison, right? Hey, just because the box says All-Star Tint, it doesn't mean they actually made that at All-Star Tint. But either way, pick your poison when it comes to film.
You know what I saw on the way here, which it's just jumped out at me, was there was a Facebook post by a PPF company. I don't remember the name. It's a PPF manufacturer, as you say, and I don't know if they make their own film or whatnot. But anyway, the point was, and I would glance because it was quick. It may or may not have been driving, and it says something along the lines of PPF, like we white label PPF, but it wasn't like an overseas company. It was like we white label our PPF, so you can sell it how you want because branding is important. And in the I'm not saying that's for everybody, but it stood out to me as like you go, like if you're a flat glass company. And what I mean by if you're a flat glass manufacturer, right? I understand why you don't want to private label films or whatnot. I get that side of it. But then if we talk about, well, why would you want to private label films? If you're looking for a competitive advantage, there's going to be a certain segment of the industry that sees the value in their own name being on that box of film, so they can eliminate any chances of somebody coming in with the same film. There is going to be that segment. So why not build out that element of your company and go, hey, we're going to offer private labeling to our dealers? It seems like a great idea.
No, I get it. So I guess they'd be saying, hey, we want the all-out tint ceramic, right?
Whatever you want is all-out tint, right?
Yeah. No, I get it.
And frankly, like, again, if I'm Joe Blow window tint manufacturer and I go, well, what happens is I got Rob as a dealer, but then so did, Jane Blow and then, Mary Blow and everybody's going after Rob because he's a badass dealer. But realistically, if like I'm the one offering you your private label film and we have that kind of agreement, people might, it locks in the thing, and it's something that I haven't seen anybody do in flat glass.
Man, yeah, you know what? I haven't seen that myself, and I know that there's obviously a few manufacturers that we have here in the country that actually make window film. They might do it.
It's just look, but even if they don't make the window film, even if how about this? Especially if they don't make the window film, if they don't make the window film, they're reboxing it for their own brand. So to rebox your brand should be pretty simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to make that a goal.
Your arm a little bit as your manufacturer, and I'd say, Rob, you're usually buying 3 boxes. Let's say you're buying 8 boxes of dual reflective a month. So you're buying 96 boxes a year of 72-inch dual reflective. And for this white label program, you're going to need to buy a minimum of 150 boxes per year of your own dual reflective. It's going to work both ways.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay. So how about this? Because we're talking about this, I'm going to put it into my 5-year goal.
Okay.
Within 5 years. So I want to come on the show again and give me about like a year and a half or so. I'm gonna get my own private label all out tint bronze window film.
I love it. I love where it could lead and where it could go.
Right? I mean,
and here's the thing. I'm not saying nobody's ever private labeled their own film. I'll give you an example of a company. Met West is one where when we were operating Window Tint LA and we'd go against Met West, they had, I want to say it was called like Met Frost or something. Like they renamed all these Frost films so that when somebody said what was on this or was spec'd in somewhere, it's their film. So people do private label their own films, but when has a manufacturer focused on private labeling for their dealers, making it easy instead of you having to go rebox your own stuff and jump through?
Okay. I know some people, Eric. So, I mean, not that my name is that big out here, but I do know some people and I'm pretty well known.
I believe it'll be less than a year and a half or whatever you said, year and a half. It'll be half that time probably or a third of that time.
Well, I appreciate that. So how about this? When I get the box in hand, I'm going to call you and say, hey, I need to be on the show next week. We'll do that.
Amen. Let's do it. And
I mean, why not? It gives me something to strive for and something to look at. But one other thing real quick. So when you said flat glass, when it came to IR and teaser, we go into the sale as I want people to know what the film is going to do to cool down their home or their business, right? A lot of window tinters or a lot of salesmen, unfortunately, don't understand the difference between IR, teaser. They just don't know. What is an infrared heat rejection? What the hell is an IR heat rejection? Does that mean all that heat, 96% of that heat is going to stop? No. So it's an infrared heat, but they don't understand that. So without getting into the whole mess,
part of the light that's shining through, I think,
one part of the light, right? So
one part of what you're seeing shining through.
One part of the 3 that come through, right? And that's what it is. But as I was saying, is there is a manufacturer out here that I currently use that only advertises with the teaser, no IR at all on any of their stuff. I don't know the reason. There's another manufacturer that I use all the time that all they do is advertise with an IR. So I don't understand the difference of that. I guess those are things I want to learn. Like, why did they do that? Something
regarding IR that I picked up over the years, somewhat common knowledge, I think, is, or you'll see it in the conversations when IR comes up, is that when they're giving you any stat on window film, that is a stat on window film tested on glass. That glass was at a certain thickness. Usually they do it on a single pane and a dual pane. It's at a certain thickness. And then there's a range that it's tested out, and they're giving you the average, but not the average from the whole range. They're picking a range within the range and then giving you either the highest point of that or the average of that range within the range. So,
explain that to your client.
When you talk about numbers don't lie, they kind of do when it comes to stats on window film, in the sense that you have to dig deeper if you're going to go stat by stat. But
and then what did the glass check out as? What was the glass rated at? We don't know. I mean,
they'll tell you somewhere in fine print, but you're not selling flat glass on specs, or you shouldn't be, because the glass that it was tested on is not the same glass your customer has. And things like airflow in the room that have nothing to do with the glass will play a role in this. And I mean, there's a lot of elements that come into flat glass.
So these are the things that I'm looking forward to in the traveling tint school, right? These are the things that I haven't mentioned on my flat glass page, because there has to be a little bit of stuff for me to still do, right? So there's obviously some tips and tricks and things like this and glass. I'm actually working with the millers with the glass because I want to learn more myself before I start to push it out. But either way, what I'm saying is there's so much more to learn about flat glass rather than what I just put on that page. But I just give people just enough to where they can actually go. When it's technical stuff, I have a couple guys. Marcus is on the page. Mohawk is on the page. A couple guys. Man, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of guys that are on the page that really step up and say, hey, this is it. You know, and I might call on those guys and say, hey, can you help answer this question? Because I don't even know it. So, you know, things like guys I've been in this for 20, 30 years. Jeff is on the page, and he's amazing. When Jeff replies to a comment, I mean, he replies, and he'll give you a paragraph of stuff, and it's all very valuable information. So hopefully they read it. But I call on those guys to help me, to help the other people asking. But what I'm getting at is there's still a lot of stuff that I know about flat glass that's not mentioned on flat glass guidance. But these are the things that I want to help train and teach people, you know, stuff like that. Hey, don't try to sell it on the IR rejection. That's going to be a tough sell. You can mention it because it's on the spec. And if they ask you, you got to tell them. But I wouldn't try to sell it just off an IR because that's going to be a tough sell. Because if they go and get an IR gun and it doesn't meter exactly what you just said, now what do you do? So there's a lot of different variables there. We have customers like that in Vegas that literally have IR guns and they'll test it. I mean, and it never matches. It just doesn't, you know. So either way, one other thing, Eric, we haven't really touched on is turf protection film.
It's parking ticket time. That might have to jump into to be continued.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I just wanted to let you know, like with the turf protection film, just to be very careful with the film on the glass because that's an exterior install, so it's a lot different.
And it's getting a tremendous amount of heat, right? Higher than more heat than any glass that you're probably seeing on a normal basis if you're going out there for that reason. And that heat is going somewhere, and you don't want it to reflect, and you can't necessarily absorb it all in the glass. So
yeah,
that's a special project.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's obviously something for the page, but just for anyone that is watching, you know, just be careful when you're applying exterior film to the glass for turf protection because, like Eric said, it holds a tremendous amount of heat and it could snap windows very fast.
And then before we go, Marion mentioned that you can learn a lot from Manny and Rob. So that's Rob Oranges and Manny Honduras from EPD. Rob Oranges from Grimco, Denco. Now it's Grimco. Grimco acquired them, I believe. And then Manny from Energy Products Distribution, also where Marion's at, and that's EPD. And Rob is somebody that I personally used to have as a resource and have known for many years. And he would be somebody I've called a million times to ask flat glass questions. And
I love to hear that. That's great.
Both great people and also additional resources. So Rob, thank you so much for the last couple of hours of flat glass guidance. And I look forward
that was great.
You're not going to be at WFCT or WFR, right? So we're just going to see you maybe at SEMA.
No, WFR. SEMA, probably SEMA, or I mean, you're in LA and I'm in Vegas, so I'm only 5 hours away. So
I look forward to it.
But yeah, WFCT, we did get sponsored to go, but we had to deny that one, and WFR, and we had to deny that one. So taking the wife out, and we're going to go do a little cruising and go to Bahamas and go to Miami. I'm actually going to go see Poppy from Tint Buster on September 4th before he leaves for WFCT.
Amazing.
But yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for
have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Rob.